If you have an issue with doing people's hair and having them leave, then it really comes down to two problems if they don't return. It's your product or your personality. Same thing with holding on to a staff. Like, are you the type of owner that you have team members that come in and they work for a couple months or a year and they leave? Like, there's obviously some other underlying factors in that, but typically it's your skills as a leader or your personality. You just may not be likable. And a lot of people, that's a hard pill to swallow. Like, what we do is very relational, not really transactional. And the kind of person you are, how likable you are, the conversations you have with people, like that's a big part of the experience of going to you for a service. How likable you are, it's a big part of why people want to stay in your salon, be part of your team, and be part of the culture. So I'm going to go jump over to the whiteboard behind me, and we're going to break this down very simple. If you just started doing hair, you have like not a lot of skill, much like also being an owner. So if you just started opening a salon, your leadership skills aren't there. Like, you have to work on your personality. And then as you develop as a leader, your skills will get better. So your personality has to make up 75% of that pie chart. But here's where the problem happens, guys. You don't do that, right? The black one out right here. What happens is, next time we do this, James, I have to use the other mics. So I'm gonna go like this. So what happens here, you guys like my mic stand here? Is that good? Cool. So what happens here is you have to become likable and you gotta complete this pie chart. Well, what most people do is they don't work on the personality. They're not very likable. And you're going to lose people because you don't have enough time for being an owner to really have the skills in leadership that you need. And much like if you don't have the time you need to develop the skills of doing hair, you have to have something else that retains your clientele, that makes them want to stay with you. And so you can take all the classes you want, and it's going to take you a while to get that skill set, much like owning a salon. But here's the deal. If you don't have a great, pleasing personality, if you're not likable, and you're actually, what do you get me, another mic? A handheld? All right, cool. You got the handheld for that? I can hold this like this too. And if you have, let's say, 25% personality, okay, and half of this pie chart is empty, you're 50%. You're gonna be half as successful as you can be. So you have to make up for skill or personality somewhere. And if you can't do that, then you're not gonna be successful. So if you need more time to get better at doing hair, you can work immediately on your personality, on being more likable, on being better understood, on communication. These are soft skills. You don't need a lot of experience for them because you're a human, you have life. You can easily become more likable. All right, so now we got the mic back up. Now, what does this mean? Let's talk about some skills we have here. How do you stack skills and make yourself better at what you do? All right, so back down to the pie chart again. Personality-wise, let's focus on that because a lot of people, that is the lowest barrier to become successful. You could become a better communicator, right? Communicate. Don't judge my spelling, guys. Communicate, because I'm not good at this writer board. Now, what else can you do? You can listen. That's part of communication. Here's where people go wrong. As a new stylist, what begins to happen is you overdo the conversation to make up for the lack of skill that you have by speaking too much about yourself and about things you're comfortable about. So what I want you guys to do is be more interested than interesting. And even as new owners, this applies to you too. You try and tell them everything you're gonna do for them. But instead, why don't you find out what they want done for them? Like, what kind of environment does your team want? Like, how can you better serve them as an owner? Because we are in the service industry, whether you're serving clients that you're doing their hair in the chair, or you're serving your staff members by creating an environment for them that they can flourish in, a salon that they can really thrive in. It's up to you to deliver that. And you can't deliver that if you don't have the leadership skills or the business skills yet. So you have to make up for it by communicating, listening, and just being a servant leader. And it's not about being the hardest owner and creating boundaries and being so strict at first because you don't even know what you want. What I want you to do is go back into your mind and think about what it was like to work as a stylist in a salon. What were the things that owners did to you or with the salon team that you just did not like? And why are you doing them now? Like, it goes back to like childhood and parents and like that whole like domestication, rotation in life where your father was an alcoholic, now you're an alcoholic, and then your grandfather was like, it just keeps going generation and generation. Leadership and ownership a lot of times is much like that. So you're going to find yourself doing things that your owners did because you don't know any better. And what happens is ownership is hard, is very difficult. And when you open a salon, if your owner implemented like a 10% or 50% charge on you for color. Well, you didn't like that when that was done to you, but now you're in a position of an owner and you realize you have no money coming in. So what do? You do what you know, and that means you're going to charge your team a 15 or 10% color charge on the back end of their commission. But if you were learning skills, right, you start stacking skills and you listen to your team, you would realize that they don't like that, obviously. And then you have more skills of leadership and learning about how you actually make a salon more successful. You realize there's something called parts and labor. And then now you can do parts and labor where you don't have to pay for the product. Your clients or your stylists don't have to pay for the products, rather, but your clients do at checkout. So you start learning new ways to run your business and your company. And that's when now you start equaling skills with communication skills and personality, and you have 100% of that pie chart as an owner. So it's important, I can't stress it enough, that everything you do in life, whether you're an owner or whether you are a stylist, you're going to have two main reasons why you can't hold on to staff or you can't hold on to clientele. And it's going to be the skills that you have, the actual technical skills, doing the hair, doing the color, doing the blowout, and the personality. The one thing you can't control is your personality. And you don't need to wait a long time to get those skills. You know what it means to be a likable person. Just fix that. So when I talk to stylists and even my own one-on-ones I do with my team, and I take a look at their retention rate, because that's the key number in order to be successful. That's the key number to be successful as an owner. If you could retain staff members and build them up, and then you have a staff of 10 or 20 or 30, or you have 5 salons and you're always keeping team members in because you build the team and the team builds the business, that's a very important number. How do you keep that retention rate? And if they can't hold on to stylists, so what I do is I ask the owner, is it a people problem? Do they not like the management? Do they not like you? Is there a personality issue with that? How do you fix it? You need better skills. You need better leadership skills. You may have a really crappy commission structure. Yeah, that's part of it. But if you're super likable, stylists will deal with that because the environment isn't toxic. It's welcoming. So a pleasing personality goes a long way. It's 50% of that pie chart. The skills you can always stack up if you're likable and they like being around you and you're a pleasure to be around. Now, the same thing goes for my team when I do my one-on-ones. And I ask them, hey, your retention rate's 40%. Why is that? Why do you think that is? Is it your personality or is it your service? And they always know the answer. They always know, my haircuts weren't that great. I tried this new color technique lately. I've just been off. All right, what's going on with your life? What are you off for? What's happening? And that gives you a chance to truly be a leader and find out what is the underlying issue and then how do we fix it? It might just be a cutting class. It might just be a color class. But if it's a personality thing, then you have to really break down, what is it about their personality that they need to fix? Because this is a service industry. I talk to people all the time and they're like, I'm not a people person. Why are you doing hair? Our whole job revolves around people. So I don't understand why you would pick a career that revolves around doing hair if you don't like people. That's the whole entire business. So you guys have to, if you keep telling yourself you're not a people person, then you're never going to become a people person. You have to tell yourself you are a people person. You have to love people. You have to love communication. You have to love listening. You have to love that just as much as you love haircutting and coloring. It's a huge part of that. Now, where this gets really fun is on that pie chart, you can slack in one area if you're very, very well equipped with the skills of doing hair. Then you could have a little bit of a displeasing personality. You could be a little bit of a stuck up. You could be a little bit of a bitch. If you're really good at cutting hair, people will deal with that because it's literally the best haircut in the area, the best haircut in the world. They'll deal with that, right? And if you're super nice and you got great customer service and you excel in that area and you're almost a whole pie chart I just showed you full of personality, you could be okay at cutting hair. They'll deal with a haircut not styling right for a couple weeks till it grows out. They'll deal with the color not just being perfectly right because of how likable you are. So there are reasons why that you guys there are systems that you can put in place to make sure that you're solidifying the fact that you are 100% of that pie chart one way or another. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you love this channel, make sure you click subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get alerted every time I upload a new video. If you want to watch the full video, click somewhere on this page, I think right over here, and drop a comment if you have any questions.